Welcome back, double teamed fam. How are we doing on this fine Thursday?
Actually, no, this should be releasing after. So yeah, they should already be familiar with our plan. We'll have episodes through July, and then I have a special segment that I'm doing from August to December that I'm very excited about. So anyways, yeah.
We'll see if I record anything I'll have the recording stuff with me, so if I really feel inspired.
You could always just do an audio episode, yeah.
Yeah.
Treat this as like your own little,
Diary.
Dear diary. Creative sessions, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Late night thoughts with Cammie. I don't know.
Got to get unemployed thoughts with Cammie. Yo, this job market sucks. Hopefully by the time this releases, I'll be just swimming in a new job. In abundance. In abundance. And a job that I like, that makes me happy. Where I trust my boss.
Let us call that in.
Call that in.
If you are in the job market or on the job hunt, I hope it's going well for you. I'm sorry if it's frustrating.
And I polled this a while ago on the pod, and then, I just keep hearing more stories where it's just like people are looking for like upwards of a year for a new job. Yeah. But even on-site jobs too, or hybrid jobs are like flooded with candidates. 400 people applying every time. You're just hoping you get your resume to that top pile that's even getting considered.
Most of the time you have to know someone in order to be like.
Yeah, no. Nowadays it's like, who do you know? So
yeah, it
kind of sucks, and not to get political. But. Because I remember my mom was like, I can't believe you're having such a hard time finding a job. Like, you have a master's, you're an educated individual. Like, banking doesn't have this job. Yeah, Mom, I don't want to be a fucking bank teller.
I know, that's another thing too.
And that's the thing. It's like, I have a master's. I have previous experience in marketing and event management and live shows, in, managing large scale teams. And, I have a lot of experience, which means like the jobs that I want need to be, something that promote my growth, or with a company that I can grow with, that challenge me,
that you enjoy,
that I enjoy, and that pay well. Okay. Like, I live in fucking California. Like, I'm not looking for hourly, I'm looking for salary. And one of the things that sucks is just the fact that, like, for my mom to be like, oh my God, like, how have you not found something? It's like, okay, well, me and, half of the United States are looking for jobs right now where we feel valued.
50%, but yeah.
We don't want to be in factories.
Well, okay, don't say that. Some people do. I mean,
that's great, but
you don't.
I don't.
Okay,
and some other people don't. Some people, you know what? If they want that job, sure, but I don't.
And that's fine.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
everyone's preferences are different.
Yep. I think the thing is, with the whole, bring jobs to America, it's like, if you are trying, and that's what I'm saying, not to get political, but raising certain number of jobs, like, yeah, sure, manufacturing jobs maybe go up, or things like that. Like, that is for a very specific.
Yeah, not everyone is qualified to do that, nor is not everyone wanting to do that. And yeah. I mean, satisfaction is a big piece of it. It should never be just having a job to just have a job. And that's the thing. It's like,
exactly. It's like, I don't want a job just to have a job. I want somewhere where, I get to use everything in my arsenal. That's like really fun. I will say, like, I love working remote, and I love working from home. And, I also really loved, like, for example, with event management, like getting to put on a production. I think what I really need in a position is, in general, is the ability to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's on site or not.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, when you were saying that, like, your mom was maybe recommending to go work at a place where, I guess she said banking, and you have no experience in banking, nor do you want to do banking. Again, like I said, it should never be just about, like, I mean, for some people, yes, like, if it's really about the money and that's what you're seeking, and so a job is a job as long as it's giving you the money that you want to get, that's fine. I guess everyone's different. Some people prioritize emotional fulfillment.
I also realize I'm not the only one that, I could feel different from someone else in their job search, etc.
Yeah, some people prioritize, the money, not necessarily, the emotional fulfillment. Everyone's different, but I don't know. For me, the reason why I left my job was just because, like, I didn't have any emotional fulfillment,
I think we're both people that need that,
Yeah, and that's okay. Anyways,
moving on.
If you're in the job search, I hope it's going well, and I wish you many opportunities to come. Anyways, for this next little segment, something else that might piss you off besides the job market.
Okay. Vag Fact brought to you by Evvy. I actually love this book that Evvy gave us.
And you guys know Evvy, they do the vaginal microbiome testing. We've talked about them a lot on our Instagram. I don't know if we've had this segment on our episode a few times, so you might be familiar with them. But if you're not, it's a company. They ship you a test. You do a little swab. You send it back in. And for vagina owners, it tells you about the microbiome in your vagina, and it is phenomenal.
What's in there? Yep.
Cammie and I love this brand because I feel like I've learned so much about my body and like ways to take better care of my private parts, my vag, because like that matters to me. And now I'm
about to test for the third time, and I'm so excited.
Mine will be the second time. Yeah.
Because it's really also nice to just see like how doing different things for yourself and for your health it just shows up in a certain area, like your vag, for example.
100%. But yes, they did send us this book, and it's 100 effed facts about the gender health gap. A very incomplete list of ways the female body has been left behind by modern medicine. Evvy put together this book, and we're going to go to...
with Vag Facts
number 85. We didn't have a full anatomical understanding of the clitoris until 2005.
I didn't have a full anatomical understanding of my clitoris until about 3 years ago.
Probably 2 for me. And the source for this is...
not even
Helen... Can you let me cite this?
Sorry, go ahead.
Source of the... because I know some people are going to be like, well, where the fuck is that coming from? So just to let you know, it is by Helen O'Connell et al. and gang. Anatomy of the Clitoris, the Journal of Urology, 2005, PMID 161453667. Okay, so there's your citation.
I really do think we should change et al. To and gang.
Yes. And homies, but
and homies is even better. But anyways, back to this fact. 2005 is wild, but also just like research of the female body in general has always been slowed, because for the longest,
that's what this entire book is about.
Yeah,
the fact that they didn't study. There was another book that I had.
You know why? Because a lot of the times they were basing their studies off of the reproductive system of a cow.
Well, no, and another reason, and this is from a book that I also remember hearing about on a podcast. I'm blanking on the name of the book, but it's a book that's been highly recommended. But basically, it's because for a very long time, so many like health studies were performed or were done just on men, and then they just assumed that if it was, if that was the case for a man, then surely that was the case for a woman. Which is infuriating.
Yeah.
I hate the patriarchy. It sucks here. Why did it not become a matriarchy? I blame agriculture. If you read a book called Sex at Dawn, you'll learn that one of the reasons patriarchy was formed and we went from hunting and gathering to, I guess, a more civilized society is agriculture. When land started being divided into, portions that were given to men.
Because who were the farmers?
Men. And so then they got their plots of land, and then at that point, they were expected to like have a wife, start reproducing so that someone can inherit that land. And at that point, they had to grow crops and such on their land. So that is what really began the shift from like hunting and gathering. Think about it, like men were hunting, women were gathering. It was kind of a more equal society, I guess,
some societies, especially like I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of like Indian
native
sorry, not Indian. You're right. Native American societies were more matriarchal.
I don't know that to be for certain, but
I remember reading that in one of my history classes.
But that would be fascinating, and that's
I don't know
really
why
cool,
I remembered that,
but yeah, essentially, because the plots of land were given to the men, that is essentially what started kind of a more patriarchal society.
But anyways, back to this fact. Yeah.
Well, no, but I was saying was because of that, and because men have been at the forefront of society throughout all of its development. A lot of the studies in medicine were only in reference to men, and they assumed it was the same for women. It wasn't. And I mean, if you read through a lot of this book, it kind of starts to highlight that it hasn't been, I would say, in the last maybe 20, 30 years, they've finally started doing more research that is like centered on women. Another one that I really like, the NIH didn't have a research branch that studies female sexual organs beyond their role in reproduction until 2012. And there is...
Well, the NIH is not even...
NIH. About to be is that still a thing? I don't know. I think our current administration is very... anti-science. Anyways, there is number 86. There is 5 times more research on erectile dysfunction, which affects 19% of men, than on PMS, which affects 90% of women. The source of that, why do we still not know what causes PMS? ResearchGate 2016.
PMS sucks. And it is a very real thing
and every woman has a fucking period. So of course, 90% of women have PMS. Only 19% of men have erectile dysfunction, and that's like the top priority. I mean, think about how easy it is to get Viagra. It is infuriating. I'm sorry. If I could turn back any fucking clock and go back to a time whenever they were deciding about the whole plots of land thing,
I would have put the women in front. I would have been like, she's the farmer, okay?
She gets the fucking land.
The man raises the kids.
Anyways.
Collect the milk. There you go. The fact about PMS, for example, what can you readily go to for PMS? Like, what's the one thing that's been marketed?
Midol, yeah, I guess that's the only thing. I know, but so PMS is what, premenstrual symptoms that cause like mood swings and such. I have recently kind of been going through what I think is low progesterone, and that's caused a lot of PMS symptoms, and I think it's caused by a hormonal imbalance. And sometimes I wonder, like, why don't we just like put more research into the role of progesterone during the luteal phase and how that could affect PMS.
Luteal phase sucks. We're all depressed. If your girl's in luteal phase, she's depressed. At least for like 3-4 days. It's really dicey up here.
No, for me, it's like longer than 3-4 days. Are you kidding me?
I mean, there's like
luteal phase lasts 2 weeks.
Yeah, but
it's the longest part of the cycle.
The come up is okay. Yeah, no, I know. I'm saying, it's different for everybody. But like, for example, for me, the come up is okay. Starts getting like a little wonky up there, but the intrusive thoughts are hitting. You're kind of like ready to cry.
Then, at any given moment.
Yeah, then you get to like the peak of luteal phase, and you're mad and you don't even know why. Like, you
want to cry and you don't know why.
Yep, exactly. And it's like you would think, I mean, you hear about it when you're a younger girl, like, oh my God, you're starting your period. You might get really emotional. When do you get emotional? The luteal phase. Nobody tells you that. You have to learn that on your own, because, this is why I created a course on this. Anyways, and then afterwards, then you start your period, and now you're bloated and you feel ugly, and maybe you're getting acne everywhere, who knows. And it's just like there's so many things going on in that 2-week mark before you even start your period, that it's just like, how are we not equipping women with more tools on how to deal with PMS?
Because men and corporations just aren't really quite interested in helping women. Anyways, that's the sad truth. Except companies like Evvy. So thank you, Evvy, for the book. It has honestly been really fascinating. So that was Vag Facts, brought to you by Evvy.
And I will say, men, I know not all of you are,
Yes, not all men. Got it.
Some of you are very pro women.
No, you are
pro cycle, and we love that.
If you're interested in checking out Evvy, use code DTFam10 at checkout to
get
10%
at Evvy.com, EVVY.com.
Yep. Now, I will say this.
Guys, I could not be more in love with my Birch mattress. Now, as you guys know, I moved to San Diego recently. My boyfriend and I are going to move in together come November. And I was like, you know what? It's time for us to get a bed together, one that is just for him and I. It's new energy. And Birch is the brand that I've been eyeing for a very long time. So I'm super excited to work with them. You know how much I love my Helix mattress, and Birch is a part of that company. B, Birch is also made of organic and natural materials, and you know how much of an organic / natural materials / nature girly I am. So Birch was made for me. I truly believe this. We recently set up our mattress. It is so comfy and cozy. One thing, we got the Birch or the natural luxe. One thing that I love that it has extra like spring support on the sides. So when you sit on the side, you're not like completely sinking in. And then of course, when I'm sleeping on it, I've got all my pillows. I've got my cozy blanket. I am in freaking heaven. I can't stress how much I love this mattress enough. It is stylish, it is comfortable, and most importantly, it is crafted with responsibly sourced materials. Now, if you're interested in Birch, there's no better way to test a new Birch mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home, obviously. They do offer a 100-night risk-free trial to see how your body adjusts. I will say, even from the first night, I could just tell that I liked this mattress. It is sublime. So, again, 100-night risk-free trial. They are shipped directly to your door. The installation is also super easy. You just open the box, you cut away the packaging, you let it expand out, and then you let it rest for about 1 to 2 hours. That's what I did. And then I put the sheets on it, made my bed, etc. And they do have a 25-year warranty. That is super special. I do love a good warranty. So, I want all my listeners to enjoy a deep, restful night like I've been getting. My back is already feeling great from this mattress. Go to Birch Living, that's BIRCH living.com/DTF. Again, go to birchliving.com/DTF and use code DTF for 27% off site-wide. And you do get 2 free pillows. Now, this specific 27% off site-wide sale is through June 1st. So act fast, ladies and gents and theys, okay? This is your time to get your Memorial Day savings. Again, go to birchliving.com/DTF for 27% off site-wide, and you do get 2 free pillows. And let me know how your Birch mattress is suiting you. All right, now that summer is on its way, like the whole slogan, we are so back. Summer's almost here. We got to get equipped for all of the adventures that we are going on. Now, how are we going to do that? Via Hemp, of course. They've got their High Love. They've got a great selection of gummies that are going to get you feeling right for this summer season. High Love, for example, is crafted with a powerful blend of cannabinoids and time-tested aphrodisiac herbs. So maybe you're going to a play party. Maybe you're having alone time with your boo. Maybe, I don't know, you're going skinny dipping. High Love has got you covered, okay? It also has maca root for energy, horny goatweed, and the formula is designed to increase blood flow, awaken your senses, which you definitely want this summer, and to help you fully embrace the moment, which fully embrace the moment is so significant for this summer season. I think we all need to get in touch with the present. I know for me, as an anxious girly, I look for anything that helps me stay present. I think High Love is actually one of the better ones I feel that has really helped me just kind of like get out of my own head per se. So Via Hemp, of course, has got you covered. They are known for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies, soothing topicals, and their calming drops. If you are looking to get yourself some Via Hemp, go to viahemp.com and use code DTFAM. Again, viahemp.com and use code DTFAM for savings. Plus, enjoy free shipping on all orders over $50. I freaking love free shipping. So again, go to viahemp.com, use code DTFAM. Link is in the episode description. Enjoy free shipping if you order over $50, and let me know how well Via Hemp is treating you this summer.
If you are a man dating a woman, you should absolutely familiarize yourself with her cycle and where she is on that cycle.
Yeah.
And know, okay, follicular. We should be going on walks. We should be doing outdoor fun things. She's feeling good, better after the period.
Yeah, take some sexy photos of her. She's feeling herself.
Ovulation, absolutely feral time. Go try something new in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Go enjoy
Fuck
yourselves.
your brains out.
Fuck like rabbits.
Use protection if you are, not using some sort of contraception and you don't want children.
Yep. Luteal phase. Be nice to her.
Give her chocolate. Tell her you love her 10 times more than you did last week.
Tell her you love her 10 times more than you normally would on a given day. Get her foods rich in iron because she's about to lose a lot of blood. Mm-hmm. And that luteal phase lasts about 2 weeks. So 2 weeks of you being the absolute nicest that you possibly can be to this woman in your life. Okay. And understanding and just knowing that maybe if she's lashing out, it's because her hormones are literally telling her everything is going to shit. And then we enter the menstrual cycle. Everything you did during the luteal phase should be quadrupled.
I wouldn't say that. Actually, my period has been so mild.
Same with mine. Actually, my luteal phase is worse than
my luteal phase is horrible. And then,
however, if she has painful periods, heating pads, cook dinner for her, give her some pho, ramen,
some really
chicken noodle soup,
good soup. With protein.
Love a soup during the menstrual cycle.
I make, usually during luteal phase, I'll make a white bean soup that I have a recipe for that I love.
But then then the cycle starts all over again. So once menstrual's done, follicular phase, go travel, go have fun, go do exciting social things. Ovulation comes back. Try some, it's a cycle, okay? Every month. And if that sounds exhausting to you, I'm sorry, but you are subscribing to a woman. Okay, the least you could do is pay attention to her cycle.
I mean, I will say, I feel like my cycle has changed recently. My period's 3 days tops. And I used to get a lot more bloated. I don't get as bloated anymore. I have intense cravings during my luteal phase. And then when I'm actually bleeding, it's like I'm already starting my follicular. I feel like I have a lot more energy.
See, for me, at least my last period was very painful. I literally did not leave the couch.
Yeah. And
I love TikTok this day and age because my boyfriend said he saw a TikTok about how during, luteal and menstrual cycle, it's during the luteal and menstrual phase of the cycle, it's good to eat more iron-rich foods because your body is getting depleted. So he made sure that we were eating a good amount of meat. He made me a steak on my period. We were supposed to go out and go to our friend's event, and he was like, you know what, let's stay in, let's watch our show, let's go get ice cream.
That's so cute.
And I was so grateful. So yeah, when a man pays attention to a woman's cycle and is very, cognizant and proactive in helping with that, 10 out of 10 chef's kiss.
And that also just goes to show that your girl's cycle is going to be her own. So you can't also just go by our advice. You got to figure out what she
wants. Yeah.
Yeah. So you ask her okay, when does your luteal phase hit the hardest? Is it luteal or luteal? I don't know. Anyways, and then ask her, what kind of support do you need mentally and emotionally during your luteal phase? What do you need during your period? How can I help? I think that's a beautiful way to start.
Everyone loves a question. How can I help? And actually, this is a great segue of what I wanted to talk about today. Because, sometimes when your partner's having a bad day, it's very easy to internalize it And I was thinking about this the other day.
Yeah, because I take shit so personally.
Well, and the reason that I was thinking about this was because, hold on, let me clean this up. I went to go spend a month in Italy with my boyfriend, and I remember this was in my luteal phase, so I was just like not in a great mood. And it wasn't really anything that he did. I was just like pissed the fuck off because my progesterone's low. I am craving everything. I'm like a garbage disposal. I just want to eat everything in sight. And I just was irritable and just kind of in a cranky mood, whatever. And of course, like, he immediately takes it as like, oh, I did something wrong. And then he's like, well, what the fuck did I do? What I got to do? Like, wait, do I need to apologize for something? Am I, did I miss something, etc.? And so he's like, he's like, are you okay? What happened? What did I do? And I'm like, nothing. Like, I'm just in a bad mood. And it made me think about, because like Cammie and I have been living for, 4 years together. Cammie and I have been living together for 4 years. And when Cammie's pissed off, like, I don't come downstairs and immediately like wonder like, well, shit, what did I do?
What did I do? No, you're like,
I'm like, this
what the fuck's wrong?
This bitch needs to get it together. Okay, just don't ruin my day while you're at it. Let me know if you need anything. So that's like, and it's the same for both of us. Very rarely do we internalize, like, if she's having a bad day, I'm having a bad day, the other doesn't internalize it. We will, however, like, sometimes if she takes it out on me, I'm like, yo.
We do take it out on each other.
We do take it out, yeah. But we'll stop each other from, I will legit call you out, you will call me out, and we'll be like, okay, just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean you have to bring me down with you. So that's good and great.
I will go down with this ship, and I will put my arms up
and surrender. Okay, anyways. I know y'all missed our sing-alongs. So
I doubt. No, they did.
So anyways, I was thinking about that because, and it's also the same, like, if there was a day where he had a bad day and I was immediately like, what did I do? What's wrong? Do we need to fix something? Like, so I realized that, like, platonic versus romantic relationships can look so different in how we, like, internalize things. It's the same, like, when my friends have a bad day. I don't sit there and think I did something wrong. I'm just like, you know what? They're going through some shit. I'll help them out if I can. But that's about it. And so
I have this thing with my boyfriend in the sense that, like, I will get, like, triggered or in my head, not necessarily about something that, he did wrong, but maybe he didn't
do what you would have wanted him to do.
Yes, that's a great way to say it. And then I internalize that and I'm like, I did something wrong, something's happening, or what's wrong, what do I need to fix? And then, like, I go down a spiral, and then, like, I try to explain to him, like, it's not your fault. I'm trying to deal with how I got triggered and why, and this is something that I need to fix because, again, you didn't do anything wrong, but I also don't know how to explain this to you. And so, like, we were having a conversation last night, and he was like, well, I was like trying to explain something. He's like, well, I don't that didn't make sense to me, and I don't know what you need from me right now, but I'm here for you whenever you do realize what you need from me. And I'm like, that's fair, because I feel like I just am going in a circle about why I got upset about something,
Yeah, I mean,
and like, and I internalize it, and then he probably, and I try to tell him, like, several times, like, please don't internalize this as something that you did wrong. I'm just trying to figure this out for myself. So,
and I think it's good to, like, have awareness around that, because sometimes, like, the way that we are internalizing, or our partner is internalizing, is, like, out of our control. So, like, I may mean one thing, he's internalizing it as another. It's not in my control how he internalizes. However, like, if he lets me know that that's how, he internalized it, like, I'd like to clarify to him, like, either what my intention was, or, that was, like, not what was actually going on. So
exactly,
it internalization, I think, just takes, like, a lot of effort, because there are times as well where, like, I've had to stop myself and be like, oh, I think, like, say for example, my boyfriend comes home from work and he's had a really long day and he's tired and doesn't want to, is not in his, like, normal cuddly mood or whatever. and which happens sometimes. And like, I have to sit there and be like, it's not me. He just is, you know, trying to regulate his own emotions, and it has nothing to do with me, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's been a good like reflection point. And I think I really want him to understand that like sometimes where I am on my cycle can be highly dependent on like what my mood is. And so like, I don't want him to internalize it as like something is wrong if I'm just not in my normal chipper mood.
I know sometimes when I'm like processing some like old shit, I'm like,
yeah,
obviously my mood's off, but it's like, you know, just,
yeah. And I think in these scenarios, like communication is key. And I think if you are at least able to recognize that, like, you know, there's a difference in like how you're internalizing it versus like what's going on, or, you know, how your partner is internalizing it versus your intention, that awareness alone can be a great first step in like allowing the both of you to have some grace in the situation.
I would agree.
Yeah. And also check that, like, if there's something that you keep kind of butting heads on, it could just be because, like, it's an internalization issue.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah.
Well, and especially if you're, like, an ex-people pleaser, like, you automatically take everything personally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's a good example. Like, well, I don't know if that's an example. I was going to say... I reached out to a friend not that long ago because we hadn't really like talked much. I felt like the friendship was slipping, and you know, like I was trying not to take it personally, and just, you know, sense that like, you know, everybody's got different like schedules and everyone's busy, blah, 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 blah. We don't see each other as much. Like, that's fine. Like, but it just felt like the friendship wasn't being nurtured. So I like confronted her and I was like, hey, like, I feel like we're slipping here. And she was like really glad I said something. And I was definitely trying to make it, you know, how I worded it come across in a way where like I wasn't taking, you know, her not reaching out personally. I was just trying to repair or, you know, express how I felt and see if there was room for like repair, or if she was perceiving it the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you know what I was thinking about through all of this is that, like, you know, how like you and I have gotten to a point where we really don't take things personally from each other. Like I said, you know, when you're upset, I don't internalize it as something I did wrong. Like we
used to do that. Back in the day. I think we did. Yeah.
How do we grow out of that? Because I would like to get to that point in my relationship and vice versa. And so I'm like, I wonder like what it took for us to get there.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just like, time. I mean, we've been together 31 years.
Yeah. I was going to say that sometimes I think, especially within, like for a lot of times, like for example, like I actively work towards not internalizing everything, you know, that my boyfriend says or, you know, does, and take it personally, because like sometimes like he's just joking, or
I'm horrible with jokes.
No, exactly. Or he just said something. Oh, God, me too. You know, it's like he'll say
my boyfriend loves to joke, and he's always like, he was like, we should be able to like, you know, joke around and banter, like that's what makes a healthy relationship. And I'm like, yes, but I'm horrible with sarcasm, and I just don't really like jokes that are like, you know, kind of like teasing jabs. Like I'm just not good at teasing, and I'm kind of like, a literal person. So.
I'm just a sensitive bitch half the time. I am, you know, my boyfriend and I call me the sensitive little bitch because that's just who I am, and I'm sorry, but it's true. Like you spill water or something?
I did, and I need to clean it up. So let's wrap this up.
Anyways, because like for example, one time we were at the gym and we were walking out, and I was like, oh, don't forget to grab the little parking pass validation. He's like, oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. And I was like, what would you do without me? And he was like, get a lot more bitches. And I was like, I was so, and then like I was just like,
I would have smacked him.
No, exactly. And then like we're like in the car, and I think he could tell that I was upset. And then finally I was just like, I can't do
jokes like
that. I just can't. I'm too sensitive right now for that. It takes me, unfortunately, due to my past, it takes me a lot longer to trust people than I care to admit. And I feel like I came to that realization over the past like year-ish, where it's just like, I actually, you know, and I was talking about this with a friend. I'm like, I don't know what I need in order to trust someone, you know?
That's a great question.
You know, so then like I think about it and I'm like, a ring on my finger is not going to make me trust a person.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so 100%. It's like,
a marriage certificate does not equal trust.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, so what do I need? And I think, you know, obviously like when I think about it, like consistent word plus action, you know, equal same thing, you know, like what they say and what they do are the same and consistent in the sense of like, okay, you know, like with my boyfriend now, like, you know, he hasn't done anything that would take away my trust from him. And, you know, we communicate a lot and we have each other's locations, you know, he'll tell me if he's out somewhere, whatever, things like that. Like we have access to each other's phones if we need to, though I'm not, you know, going around checking his phone all the time. So it's like, you know, but overall, like his words and his actions match. But it's like jokes like that where it was like, you know, get a lot more bitches. The wounded part of me, the wounded part of me that like is very sensitive and like takes things personally, like doesn't like those kinds of jokes.
Can't handle it,
yeah. While she's trying to, you know, figure out what she needs to trust. So.
And if he really wanted to go get a lot more bitches, he absolutely could. So, you know, like...
Well, no, but
no, what I'm saying is that, like, you know, at that point, like, it's a choice, too. But
regardless... I realize that, you know, it's okay to banter like that and, you know, make jokes like that. Like, obviously...
No, it's... I think what you described is perfectly how it should be. You and your partner should be able to like discuss and identify what's okay to joke about and what's not okay to joke about. So for some people, that's not okay to joke about. For some people, absolutely. They'll have banter about that back and forth all the time. So like, I think you're in a really good place if you can like, you know, you and your partner can be able to like identify, and you know, that takes time too to decipher as well. So like they make a joke about something, you both laugh about it. It's totally cool. You realize, okay, this category, good. You know, they make a joke about something else and then one of you gets triggered or sensitive, you know, maybe it's kind of a little bit of a sensitive subject. And then you both realize, you know what, jokes about this, not good, you know? And so it's a matter of like finding and identifying and like using the time to like establish what is and what is not okay.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I hope to get to a point where I just like, you know, I'm totally cool with jokes like that, you know, because
for me, it still depends on the type of joke. There are some jokes I will never be okay with.
Like what?
I don't want to talk about it right now.
Why?
I don't want to get into it. No, because we need to finish this episode, and yeah. But no, I know for me there are some jokes I'm not cool with, and that's okay. Others I am, and so yeah.
Mm-hmm. So back to internalization.
No, I mean I think that about wraps it up. But yeah. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed our, you know, Vag Facts by Evvy, because every single time I read this book, I just want to throw it at a man's head.
It makes me want to hit a man. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding. We love men.
I love the men in my life.
I love the men in my life. And I think that isn't, and you know, maybe men have their grievances with women too. You know what? It's not a gender thing, and you know, there's also non-binary, but I don't want to get into it. Regardless, go pay attention to your woman's cycle and do something to make it easier for her. Love you guys.
Or figure out how you're internalizing things, and if you are just taking things out of proportion because you take things too personally, or if it's actually, you know, just something you need to talk about.
Exactly.
Wear condoms. Bye.
See you next time.